Froststrike, Ironsing, Flame Charm, Gale Breath. Long ago, the 4 PvE attunements lived together in harmony. Then everything changed when the Metamancing Nation attacked. Only the Avatar, master of all 4 attunements, could stop him. But when Deepwoken needed him most, he vanished. 100 years passed, and my brother and I discovered the new Avatar, a Gale Breather named DM. Although his Gale Breathing skills are great, he still has a lot to learn before he's ready to change the meta. But I believe DM can save the deep. Book 2, Ironsing. Alright, y'all. We are back after a long time. So, today, we're going to be continuing the Avatar progression. Alright, so, there's a couple things we got to accomplish. First of all, we got to get a moon ring, which can be accomplished by, obviously going on a different slot. Secondly, we got to get a new Avatar arrow. My boy's bald. He's bald. So we got to do that. First of all, we will be getting the new hair ID. Oh, it's true. I still have some dye packets. That's good, actually. There we go. Alright. First thing's done and out of the way. Now let's, I think the next thing I was leveling up was Frostra. Since this slot's been around, there's been so much stuff that's come out. A whole new freaking attunement has come out, first of all. Second of all, Holotide has come and gone. The new Avatar series came out, I believe, or the new Avatar movie has been announced. It is, I believe, a movie about Kiyoshi, if I'm not mistaken. New Avatar series also. A lot has happened since this slot has been around. So my name is Aaron Beshi, doing what I want as an Avatar to see you on Osaka. Succumb to Type Soul. Type Soul has dropped to a whopping 2.8k players since I last played it back in July. Insane, right? And I don't feel like Deepwoken can have that same rapid decline due to the fact that Deepwoken, even though we complain about the mods all the time, they aren't nearly as controversial and they aren't nearly as prominent to the game's total destruction like the Deepwoken mods are. So I think we could be somewhat assured that Deepwoken won't die because of some mod issue, even though there has been a couple of mod issues that have been, in my opinion, detrimental to the game's future, but that's neither here nor there. Furthermore, when it comes to updates wise, a lot of updates recently, especially in the past 5 or 6 months since I've done this prog, have been a lot of just adding new things to the game without having something genuinely engaging for the player base to do. I understand that, they gotta work on Conquest, so they won't actually be able to have that crazy of content releasing at a schedule that, many Deepwoken players would like for it to release, and, that's completely fine. But to have the game in a state where quite frankly, people just can't see a future for it is concerning, safe to say. I don't know though. I feel like Blood Ren has been being put in the right direction, but honestly, I think Dawnwalker could have been the opportunity to add a new attunement. That I'm still salty about it, because I don't think Dawnwalker should have been known. I know that's a crazy take, because a lot of the Deepwoken lore heads are like, well, Dawnwalker was in the lore. Lightkeeping was never an attunement, and in the lore, that's not how it goes. In the lore. Yeah, I get it. I get that whole shebang, but in my personal opinion, having Frostdraw or having light in the game, not such a necessarily wanted attunement, but such a hyped up attunement from the game's launch. People have been looking at Lightborns, Lightkeepers, etc. They're a fundamental mystery of Deepwoken. In my opinion, I'm sure that they're pretty much saving it. It's a kill shot. If you add in Lightkeep, or if you add in a Lightborn obtainment as Deepwoken, people are going to be on the game for a minute. So, in my opinion, I feel like they would be saving that update for a kill shot. So if they really need to get their, if they need to get their bottom line back on track, then, well, you got the perfect solution. Quickly add in Lightkeep, or add in some other update in that manner that people have been hyped up for. Like, let's say they added a water attunement all of a sudden. Do you know how crazy that would be for the future of the game, or for the player base? Like, people would be so engaged with that, it would be insane. I mean, you saw how many people were engaged with Blood, and Blood is, quite frankly, a far simpler attunement, or a far less hyped attunement than a Lightkeep. I don't know. I do know. I do know that there's a couple of attunements that people want into the game that will never come to the game, quite frankly. Like, water will never come into the game. Mark my words, that will never happen. And if it does happen, then strike my name from the books, because I am a fraud. But I'm 98% sure that's never going to happen. And you know what? Side note, another thing they should add to the game, in my opinion, is a new legendary bell. I know that's a tried and true stereotypical thing, but since the start of the game, we've only had 2 legendary bells, and they're both very similar. Like, really similar, actually. So I'd want to see a bell that actually has a different concept than the 2 current legendary bells. The 2 current legendary bells, their main notability comes from the fact that they're incredibly good teleportation bells in 2 different ways. One, good for ganks, good for, riding up, being stealthy, transporting from small distances to long distances, and one is a direct instant TP reminiscent of the fountains in the current game. 2 things that no entity in the actual game accomplishes except for, or has a similar power to, except for, Ethereon with the portals in floor 2 and the Lightkeepers who created the fountains, in my opinion. That's what I think happened. So, with that being such an unknown for the scope of the game in regards to a combat legendary bell, for instance, that's never been seen nor done before. So I think that would be something interesting to see in the game that we haven't seen yet. But, you know, quite frankly, I don't see it happening for a long time, considering that the devs don't like to step out of their add new mantra, add 3 new talent, add 1 legendary weapon. Speaking of legendary weapons, not many light ones. I know we just got a light one in the Iron Requiem, but I mean, what do we have? Flare Blood Kamos, Wraith Claw, Iron Requiem. That's about it. I think that's it. If I'm not mistaken, that is it. Oh yeah, and the Deep Spindle, but who cares about the Deep Spindle? The Skull Piercer's better anyways. So, with all that being said, I think we deserve a new light weapon, legendary. In fact, I think we deserve a really, really good light legendary weapon. Because most of the light legendaries, yeah, sure, they're good, but that's also because they're light, not necessarily because that they're exceptionally good legendaries or anything. So, a light legendary that's good on its own, not just because of the fact that it's light, but also because of the fact that it has cool, interesting, and unique abilities would be excellent to see in the game, in my opinion. And I think we should see it, because I'm a light fan at heart. I know I'm not a time player, so I'm a fan of light aside from its chime potential, which apparently it has. But I wouldn't know. You know, something interesting about going all attunements is the fact that going all attunements leads to a lot of interesting experiences. Like choosing all these cards back to back is, I don't know, you don't really get anything too great, honestly. We get what, a couple things here and there, nothing too grand, nothing too exceptional, just kind of all of the stuff I have because of this avatar build is very but anyway, that marks power 15. You know, speaking of, there's a bunch of footage that I could get from my previous computational device that has long since been put away into the realm of infinite possibilities, the closet. And where some of your ideas are still hidden. By the way, I'm speaking to you, whoever's watching this. I know you. Come on, take it out. Yeah, take it out. Whoever that was, I don't know. Take whatever secrets are lying out of the closet and report this to the local authorities, please. Honestly, Deepwoken has been such a great game for the past, or it has such a lock on the hardcore genre on Roblox for the past many a year, that being like 3. But 3 years for a Roblox game is pretty long, especially for a hardcore game to have consistently over 10,000 players every day. But as a consequence of that, Deepwoken is a very different game than what it used to be. As somebody who did play literally hour of release, literally the moment that game came out, I played it. I played it day of. It opened, I was on it. The game feels so different. It's not the same game anymore. There's a lot of things that just, you know, either A, don't feel the same, or B, are just completely different. the enchant culture around the game, as somebody who has a lot of enchants now and who didn't have a lot of enchants back then because of, second game. Enchants back in verse 1, hell, even early verse 2, were something that you just kind of didn't see that often. Like, if you did see an enchant, you knew that was a max player, or you knew that player, had hours and hours logged into the game. But nowadays, you see an enchant, any enchant for that matter, not even just armor enchants, just enchants in general. You see a enchant, and you're just like, huh? Oh, hey, that guy has an enchant. So what? It's not something, unique anymore, which isn't necessarily a horrendous thing, but it's also a sign of things changing in Deepwoken, especially considering the fact that things have changed in a multitude of ways outside of that. For example, legendary weapons are far, far different than what they used to be. They highlight a new area of the game where you can just kind of have, if you're going a specific build and you want a specific thing for a specific attunement, you know exactly what you should go for because there's a weapon for it. Let's say you're going, I don't know, light gale. If you're going light gale, the most optimal choice for you to pick is to go Wraithclaw, fundamentally speaking. Also, biggest fist is the best weapon in that category, but that's besides the point. The fact that we can have weapons, and a lot of weapons, and a lot of notable weapons that essentially lock you down to a playstyle if you're going a specific attunement and that weapon path, is something quite, unheard of for Deepwoken. In verse 1 or early verse 2, we have some legendary weapons, but the legendary weapons that we would find would be generally restricted to just hyper specific parts of an attunement, like Crypt Blade. What else were you gonna do if you're Shadow something else? Like, let's say you want to be Shadow Medium. Well, what else would you do? Well, you can't use a legendary weapon because there is no legendary weapon. It signified something, unique, like you could try something different. You didn't have to go that legendary path if it wasn't what you wanted to do. But to be quite frank, in modern Deepwoken, if you don't go that legendary weapon for your attunement, what's the point? Why would you go an attunement path with a legendary weapon and not use it? It doesn't make any sense from a player's point of view. So that's why we have such an over-saturation of legendary enchant users. Fundamentally speaking, in my opinion, we have an oversaturation. There's too many people who just use a legendary weapon. Like, for example, 99% of my builds use a legendary weapon, whether that be Deep Pressure, the new Hailbreaker, which that's a whole thing, Deep Spindle. Hell, this build with the Imperial Staff also uses a legendary weapon. There's when an experienced player is playing the game, there's no real reason to not go a legendary weapon, because, I mean, in what world do you not have a legendary weapon? You feel me? Like, everyone has one, so why not use one? You catch my drift? Like, when you have the best option in the game already, there's no point in not going the best option in the game when you have the best option in the game. Which creates this sort of everyone is special, so no one is sort of scenario in game where, well, everyone has a legendary weapon. What's so special about my legendary weapon? This guy has 15 Hailbreakers. What's so special about my Grand Sudarusko? Oh my god, it's another dude with a curved blade of winds. How crazy. Like, things like that have been dwarfed due to their frequency of use. Now, a thing that the devs, I believe, were using to counteract this was the implementation of these relics, and specifically the combat relics, which led to a resurgence in rarity and uniqueness within the player base. No longer will you just find every single person you'll never find a group of 5 people in the same server with the same weapon and the same build, essentially. Because not everyone has the Duke medallion, not everyone has the Tyrann medallion, not everyone has the Lecky medallion. It's, in a non-duping sense, it's very, very abnormal to see more than one person with that thing. So you can keep that build diversity without actually having it being an essential part of the build. Because in most scenarios, a relic is not an essential part of the build. It's a part of your build, for sure. Yeah, it's something important, for sure. But you'll never have to get it for your build. It's an option, but you don't have to. And that's the main appeal around it, is the fact that you can, yeah, sure, it's an optional power-up for your build, but at the end of the day, keyword, it's an optional part. I think something that exemplifies that shows off one of the issues which modern Deepwoken is is a lot of content creators' videos on the topic, or a lot of the progression videos you see on YouTube. As soon as an update comes out, you'll just see blank weapon progression 1 through 20 instantly. In fact, when the Iron Requiem came out, the day and the 3-hour period after the update came out, boom, instantly got it through this dungeon. That's insane. I can get a whole new legendary weapon in the span that it takes me to go take a poop from Taco Bell. Unheard of. Especially for verse 1. This level of item acquiring and consumption is insane. This dungeon is insane. And it's not even the most optimal way to get these sort of items. You could easily do it through Layer 2 or Duke / Ferryman / any other boss. Which I think highlights to me a fundamental issue with the way progression and overall
Alright, power 17. Three more power to go. And then we should be able to have all 2-star mantras. A side goal I have is to be able to get every single wisp besides blood, obviously. I don't know. I maybe build in keeping in mind that I might not even have blood, so I could get it and just have 1 into blood in order to just get the no-star mantras and be done with that. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Y'all think I should get blood?
Goodbye, Ang. Oh my god. That was horrifically bad. That was horrifically bad. My god. That wasn't even close, honestly. Boom, perfect. And we're back. Back to our glorious, youthful self. Alright, so there's 3 more levels left, which is a challenge in of itself, I'm not gonna lie. Just 3 levels on this build is horrific. So I'm not sure what I want to do, because I can I could try leveling up Thundercall, or I could just try leveling up Ironsing. Yeah, this is this is quite the interesting experience, safe to say. Yeah, I don't feel like particularly grinding this, so because the most we have to do right now is we basically just need to level up entirely. That's essentially the if, ands, and buts about it. I'm hoping for I don't know what bell I'm hoping for on this build. For Aang, I could think possibly preservation, like he's going into the Avatar state or something. Possibly resurrection. I'm not sure. One of those two makes the most sense to me. Like shard bow, no. Yeah. So, and we got to get a couple of the mantras that I have yet to get. We will probably be needing to go to Kenneth more realistically. Currently, we have 417 HP. Pretty decent, and if I do say so myself. Sorry, the ending looks so cooked, y'all. I was really not in the mood to grind at this time, but y'all know I can't just leave the video at some boring conclusion with me giving all the items to the antiquarian for some cash money moolah. Y'all know I'll pull up when needed. So here's a couple clips of me absolutely getting destroyed in Chime. Hope you. Not even close. This good. It's so bad. It's so bad. It just sucks, bro. It just sucks. Yeah, but don't land. We'll try one last time, guys. One last time. It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Overwatch. So bad. It's just so bad.
Left alone to set her free. Falling down, I keep on falling now. Run to cure my memory.